So, actually, because the video doesn't work, Dr. Barron, as he is actually known, found that bees that had had cocaine were more excited about their pollen and did the waggle dance 25% faster than bees that didn't have cocaine. And it only took like 0.001 milligrams, which is probably a lethal dose for a human if it was in a size scale. But yeah, so it does actually affect bees, which makes bees a lot more common to the mammals than was previously thought. So that was interesting. Highlighting actually something that you guys might have heard of in the news is this. This graph actually shows honeybee populations since the 1940s and shows a fairly steady decline. This is all based on US data. Honeybees have been in trouble for a while and they haven't really known the cause, so I'm going to go into a few of the theories circulating around why that is. As you can see, current populations are about half what they were in the 50s. This CCD that they're referring to is colony collapse disorder. So going back to what the colony is, it's the queen bee, the workers, and the males. They actually find when they go to the nests, to the hives, that everyone's fled but the queen and the brood. So all the workers have just basically disappeared. So yeah, it causes obviously the destruction of the colony because they can't survive without the workers. So what's causing it? And I'm going to jump into semi-media, semi-scientific stage. These are the possible theories about bee decline and CCD. The fantastical headline that is at the top will be what's actually portrayed in the media, and then the study will be at the bottom. So first of all, study links bee decline to cell phones. That makes a fair bit of sense. Firstly, this was a bit odd because they basically chucked a whole bunch of cell phones in the beehive and then started calling them for 15-20 minutes a day. And as you'd expect, all the workers just left. And then
shocking.
The researchers said, cell phones is what's causing it. It wasn't particularly good research. Sorry, contributing to cause it. To be fair to them, they said they were contributing to be causing it. There was media reports from there basically saying that cell phones were knocking them dead out of midair, like if you were between two people and called someone else. And it just got way out of proportion. And then the academia quickly livened up to it and said this was a really small study, done with no gravity in reality at all, no grounding in reality.
Did they have the phones on loud volume?
No, it was actually purely just electromagnetic, the radiation going in. So I assume they're on silent, just that vibrate, that iPhone vibrate that everyone hates.
Hello to joy.
The second study was a bit better in that the way that they did it was they put it around the nest, but they actually found that, not that they disappeared, but the worker bees got so pissed off at the noise that they'd actually form another swarm somewhere else. So they get the queen to move out with them and then go and form it. And that's called worker piping, where they basically start sending the vibrations to say, let's move along. Next headline, bee colony collapse not due to inbreeding. So we can rule out incest straight away. I didn't even know this was an option. This came up on Tuesday. But the real reason for this is that they're saying that with the industrial farming of bees, what's been happening is that we're picking the particular types and there's no genetic diversity within the managed bee colonies. This is found to be false. So, I mean, with incest, you have all these weird fertility side effects that occur. So, this has also been found to, obviously, as the title describes, it's not due to inbreeding. Next one. The prime suspect in bee colony deaths is found by the Daily Mail. This is referring to global honeybee a parasitic mite that actually carries a virus with it. So it's kind of like a bloodborne virus that goes from bee to bee based on the hive. Obviously, bees being such social animals and interacting between each different hive, it's very easy for a mite to travel between the two. So this is actually one of the most likely contributors to the current collapse. And it's been shown that this parasitic mite is actually moving from country to country with kind of the globalisation of agriculture in terms of how we do bees. This is my favourite, and it was actually from the Journal of Experimental Biology, Trouble Bees Go Missing. It's just, the imagery there is just so good, where he just wakes up in the morning, he's just like, dude, where's the hive? There was actually, this is another, I think, given all the stuff that I've read based around this is another one that I think is actually really credible. So there's this pesticide called neonicotinoid. I don't even know how to pronounce it properly, so correct me if I'm wrong. But it's found in a lot of agricultural pesticides that are used down there in the crops. The bees go out and they pick it up, but gradually as they pick up more and more of this and it gets into their bloodstream, they become a little bit disorientated and they can't find the hive on the way back. And so with the tracking devices, which I showed earlier, they've found them just getting lost and not being able to find their way back to the hive. And it's only occurred on these crops that have the neonicotinoid. The other one was when they do bring it back, this pesticide, the queen starts laying less eggs. And the population dynamics is actually really interesting because it's actually really a balancing act between how many you can support and how many you can have as workers. And if she becomes less fertile, it actually throws the whole thing out of proportion and it kind of spirals downwards as it goes. That's the third Alan Jones reference. And I must point out that this has all been unintentional and there was no plan to promote him. But as with everything Alan Jones, you don't need a reference. So neither do I. I mean, out of all those theories that possibly come along, it seems to be like it's a combination of all of them. That's what the scientists agreed on, that they can't say that it's one particular measure, it's just a combination of all these factors combining together. But there's no one that's actually gone out and said it's specifically due to one particular cause. So what can you do? This is actually a list of 1 to 10 that I found on like a bee lover's website. A lot of them were just stupid, like write to your local member about bee populations. I'm sure Tanya Plibersleck would love to hear from you about bee. Dress up as a bee at work or something, right, just to raise awareness. But these are some ones that you can actually do, and I think I've used enough time, so I'll move right along. What we've learned, in summation, number 1, bee beards are rad. Timeout's coverage of Sydney is less than or equal to Beehive's coverage. 1 Thirdly, and importantly, if at a party in possession of cocaine is not only safe but appreciated if you share your cocaine with any lingering bees. Or at least pour a little out for the homies. And finally, we're still not sure about bee decline, but theory suggests it's got something to do with either the globalisation of agriculture and that. So, on that sad but serious note, that concludes. Any questions?
Yeah.